How's it going, guys? It feels like I haven't uploaded a video for ages, even though, yes, the void is quite common. It's maybe because I got COVID and I just feel like time is moving a bit more slowly, so I just feel like I just haven't made a video for ages. Either ways, since that we have chapter 10 announced to be coming on the 19th, I thought, well, time to make a Shijupu video, right? So this time it's gonna be on the Horn, Rock, and Chestnut banner. Um, well, no matter what, I'm just gonna say it. Don't pull Chestnut and Rock, they're just not worth it. Rock, you have Golden Glow, and then Chestnut just use the 5-star elemental medics. Just don't go with Chestnut. He is a bit too weak. So obviously the topic is going to be focused on Horn today, and obviously there's a lot more going on. We know that there will be a live stream coming on the 21st, which is probably going to talk about limited banner. So obviously everything I'm going to say today is knowing the fact that we're going to get the quote-unquote CN 3rd anniversary. So it's not really third anniversary for us, but it's going to be a limited banner right after Horn. Knowing that, yes, today's short answer of should you pull Horn is a definite yes. And I guess I'll have to go into why, even though knowing that it's a limited banner coming right after, I'm still strongly recommending everyone to pull Horn. So, Horn is not necessarily speaking a new type of defender. I think there was a 5-star variant. I think it was Ashlock before her. I can't really remember the name, I'm sorry. But this archetype of defender was, well, I didn't really enjoy using them until we had Horns. So let's still go through the basics because I think many of you might not know what this archetype does. So the first thing that you have to look at is the attack range. So this range is very special. At E1, there is only 6 tiles that she can hit. The 1 tile at the front doesn't really exist. There's a 2 tile gap between her and then the area that she can hit. And then once you E to her, you'll get that little tip, which makes her range farther than most AoE snipers, which is a very important thing. If you've been playing Arknights for a while, you know that reach sometimes is king. And then looking at her stats, she has incredibly high stats for a defender, but you know, she's actually just a DPS, just pretending to be a defender, to be honest. Now, let's look at her talent. So her first talent is that when she's on the field, all defenders will have increased 20% attack. That includes herself. That makes her already high attack goes even higher. At P3, potential 3, that will go to plus 23%. And then her second talent is that when she's defeated, she doesn't retreat. She will recover all her HP, but she will lose 50% of her HP limit. Attack speed increased by 18, up to 21 if you get pot 5. Defense increased by 18, up to 21 again at P5. And it only triggers once every time she is deployed. So if she dies once, revives, twice, she goes down. Easy. Now the skills. As you can see, I only have M6 Horn, but depending on your situation, I might even recommend M9. So we'll have to go into the details of why that is. Beginning with skill 1. So her skill 1 is a automatically regen SP skill that will charge for twice. So when she triggers the skill, she will deal a damage of 280% at M3 physical damage, and then if it's a range attack, it will be an AoE damage. But if it's only a melee attack, that will be a single target damage. If it's a range attack though, it will also make a anti-invisibility area for 7 seconds. That will go to 8 seconds at M3. Now, the 6 SP is also only at skill level 7. If you go to just M1, that SP cost will go down to 5. So actually, I would recommend most people to get M1, even though I didn't do it, but I'm stupid. I should have done it. I just forgot about it. Now, since that her attack interval is only 2.8 seconds, if you have her skill at M1, That's 5 seconds of cooldown for 7 seconds of anti-invisibility, right? But if you go to M3 though, there's only a 3-second there is a 3-second extra duration of anti-invisibility, while her skill only takes 5 seconds to charge. So as long as there is a flow of enemy that doesn't really stops, she will have a permanent area of anti-invisibility. That's the first thing. Second of all, because this is a instant trigger skill, excuse me, this skill actually works really well in roguelike if you just want her to be a consistent damage, which is very strong, to be fair. So that is actually one of the biggest reasons I would recommend most people to M3 this skill, because recently we've experienced IS3 in CN. I'm a bit of spoilers, but Ornn destroys everything in that IS3. Also in IS2, she is also really strong as well. As a starting defender, I would usually start with Horn over Mudrock nowadays because of how much a bit more cost of Mudrock. Also way better flexibility, range damage, AoE damage, and so on with Horn. Now, I mentioned flexibility, and that's actually coming from her skill 2, which is actually, you see, my default skill that I have on her. So it's a 25 SP recovery skill, and it is actually a ammo based skill. So you see that she has 10 ammo on this skill. At M3, every single hit of her skill 2, every single ammo, will deal 240% of her attack as physical AoE damage, including melee. So that's the special thing about her skill 2, is that usually this archetype of defenders will only deal AoE damage if they're at range, but skill 2 can actually bring the AoE damage to melee as well. And since she is still a defender, she still blocks 3, right? You can actually use her skill 2 in the early, first 2 floors of roguelike, where she can deal AoE damage with her skill 2 before you have all the other operators sorted out. And then once you have like a good team, then you can change to her skill 3, which does tons of damage. Now, let's continue with this skill. So, for the first 5 ammo, she will only hit 240% of her attack as physical damage, but in the later 5 shots, she will go into a overcharge kind of a state, where every single hit will also deal extra 60% of her damage attack as arts damage, AoE arts damage. And then if you manually close the skill, end the skill, in the later 5 ammo, she will immediately throw out all of the remaining ammo, so 5 shots at once, and then lose 60% of her max HP. So, as you can see, this has really good insta burst potential, which I have used to kill ducks and bears in IS3. Now, there is a bug in IS2 where that if you use this closing the skill to instant bursting on IS2, it's not going to work against bears. You're just going to deal 0 damage. I don't know if they fixed the bug because they still haven't fixed it in CN. I'm not sure if they'll fix it in global, so take that what it is. But definitely I would recommend skill 2 M3. Now, for skill 3. Skill 3 is pretty much the biggest reason why I think everyone should actively get Horn. So, like I mentioned, skill 2 is flexible, but it doesn't really represent like the highest potential damage that she can do. But skill 3 though is actually insane. Now, at skill 3 M3, she will have increased 70% attack, and her attack interval is greatly reduced. Reduced by how much? 1.8 seconds. Remember how her attack interval is only 2.8 seconds? Well, is 2.8 seconds. Minus 1.8, that's 1 shot per second. Now, even better. In her second half of the skill, right? She will have plus 170% attack, which is really strong. She will gradually lose HP. So the HP decrease is actually depending on her max HP, and it gradually increases. It's like certain, but it doesn't really kill her straight away. If she's max HP and doesn't take any damage, she will have a bit of HP left. But what you can do with skill 3 is that, you remember how her talent 2 is that if she dies, she will have plus 18 attack speed. And then if you combine that with skill 3's increased attack, and because of the automatically decreased HP, if you have her HP low enough to begin with, and then you activate skill 3, she will die, but she will have greatly increased DPS. If you manage this really well, she will do insane damage to pretty much everything. She is essentially a really strong DPS. That's pretty much all you need to know. Really strong DPS, and destroys Phantom, let's say, in IS3, destroys most bosses, destroys bosses in IS3, IS2, destroys everything. And CC. Now, why I would say that I would recommend most people to get Horn is that out of all three content that we have, all three type of content that I summarized that we have right now, normal story or event stages, she is super strong because long reach, high damage, really good. Roguelike, IS2 and IS3, her flexibility with skill 1, skill 2 and skill 3 makes her super good. And then she is actually a part of a max risk strategy, or the max risk strategy in CC season 9. I can't even remember, but one of those CCs. I don't really pay attention to CCs, to be honest, but I know she's in one of those max risks. So if you play Arknights at all, no matter what content you enjoy, I don't like CC, but I like IS3 and I want to clear stages easily, you get Horns. If you like CC a lot and you want to go high risk CC, you get Horns. If you only want to play roguelike, you get Horns. If you only want story and event and you just want to get the rewards easily, you get Horns. What else is there to say? She is super strong. And I know a lot of people back in CN, we knew that she was going to come, we were going to get 3rd anniversary really soon. So a lot of people just skipped Horn. Every single person regretted, pretty much. She is so OP. So I don't really have much else to say about her. Like, she is just so strong that if you don't pull her, you are going to have a harder time to pretty much do a lot of content. Maybe not normal story and event stages, because those generally have lower difficulty to begin with, but Horn is really strong. One more point though. At only skill level 7, skill 3 only has plus 40 attack. And you know what that means? Way lower damage potential compared to M3. She will definitely benefit a lot from having skill 3 M3. So if you actually want to get her and you only want to mastery one skill, it's going to be M3. And if you just think that you want to get M3 and you're a beginner, I mean, if you want to get skill 3 as a beginner, I would recommend you not to begin with, because you probably don't have the resources to M3 her immediately. And without M3ing her, her damage potential is way too low. I don't think it's really worth it. You can probably just work with skill 2 at E1 to begin with, and you just work your way through that and work on other operators that are more worthy of E2 first, and then you can work on M3s down the road. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Horn. Tomorrow I will be making a roguelike clear with Horn, so stay tuned for that. And hopefully you guys get good pulls on Horn. And that's about it for this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.